Hello, hello, hello. All right. One day I'll get a fancy transition and actually it'll look better. But for today, we're back streaming again. How's it going? How's everybody doing? I try to fly but crash a lot is here. How's it going, man? Good to see you. General Zorg is here. Thanks for enjoying my streams, man. Command and Conquer, yeah, for sure. Definitely good stuff. Definitely. Madstech says daily is hard. I appreciate it. Yeah, it is hard, but it's not. I don't know. It's not that hard if you don't work. So I'm just making myself do it. Yeah. June Loco's here. How's it going? Good to see you. A regular in the chat. Those of you who've been here know the drill. Those of you that don't may not. Real quick, let's just get a quick. Right there. Are you really? Well, you can see. Mr. Henry's hanging out. Hi. To the game. And to your questions. If anybody has any questions. Today we found out Cadex is making the original DJI cam again. So that's a surprise to literally everyone. June Loco says, opinion on the new AIO 30x30. You're going to have to be more specific. Made some big gains since the last time we played, even though it's only been 2 days. Got my whip now. I only took me 100 kills. I thought we'd be doing that on stream, but yeah, that was super easy. So it's already done. Doing some more herb lore. Yeah. Good to see those 120 FPS cameras coming again, though. Hopefully, it's the same sensor in there. But Cadex's wording uh, on that release they did does kind of sound to me like there are different sensors than the Pro. I guess we'll find out. Which is obviously what we would expect, but you never know what you're gonna get. So. Not too much new news other than the Cadex thing. Hey, Cool Cat's here. How's it going, Cool Cat? Good to see you. Good to see you. Jane Duggar's here. Thanks for choosing me over the president. That's how I'll choose to read that. Appreciate it. Yes, Grace is here. How's it going? And the regular showing up. Thanks for being here, guys. Cool Cat, I did see your message, but I have not had a chance to watch your video. So. Yes, one thing that has changed since last stream is I'm now classified as a scallywag by half the audience of the FPV news, or at least the active audience that participates in polls. Nothing too exciting. Not missed too much. Making some potions. Getting ready to go kill some more stuff. S. Grace asks if it's getting cold over here yet. Not too much. We've had a couple days where the high is like 60. But yeah, nothing too cold. Then freedom units. Estrandel. Yep, it is definitely back in stock. Cadix website and pre-order a couple other places. Not too much to say about that though. It is back in stock. We can look at talking about the new F7 Luminaire AIO 30 by 30. That in there. Don't see that on their website. I'm not familiar with that one. Is it actual AIO or like 4 ESCs or? Yeah, I don't know. Luminaire had those gyro issues, so I haven't done too much with them recently. Yeah, I'm not sure who makes anything for Luminaire S Grace. Not sure. EDoc thinks Luminaire has her own factory yet. Yeah, I'm not sure. I know some of their stuff I think is rebranded, but I'm not sure what comes from where or anything. RC Ritter's here. How's it going, RC? Good to see you. Yes, sir, I did, RC Ritter. Yes, sir. Lots of people excited about the new DJI 120 cams. I definitely can understand why. They've been gone for a while, so definitely nice to see them back. Definitely never played RTH, but I've heard about it. Played WoW for a lot of years. I missed a lot of games that would fill the same niche. I just ended up on WoW. This. Oops. Scott's here. How's it going, Scott? Good to see you. I've played every single World of Warcraft expansion for some amount of time, but they normally don't hold me for too long. June Loco, yeah, I have a Slam Squirt. Haven't really used it too much, but seems pretty good. S. Grace asks if I think analog is going to stick around for a while. Yeah, unless digital cost comes down and size comes down, because that's the two constraints. Digital can get, like, if Sharkbite could get down cheaper and then smaller, like, I think at some point people will stop using analog, or like would be on the low end of people, but I think currently most people are still on analog after some consideration. RC Ritter, it definitely looks good, but the things I say still apply. It costs to put it on something, and there's a size constraint. So, like, I agree, it looks good, But like to the question of will analog die? No. You know, I think that's pretty obvious. I know Fat Truck wanted to kill analog, but they seem to have gone fucking cold on everyone. So we'll see what they say. I don't know. That one just seems weird to me. Not put that on. Damn, triggered once. I will say, I think this FAA RDQ court case thing, when the court decision actually does happen, I think it'll get a decent amount of media attention. For anybody who didn't see, the FAA responded to the RDQ court filing for the appeal. So RDQ will respond and they'll go have the court will decide basically what happens. But Forbes already covered just the FAA response, which I thought was interesting. So I'm sure the court case will be covered pretty well. Clockwork asked, asking my background, are cannabis related questions appropriate? Yes, any questions are appropriate pretty much. I don't really want to get political, but yes, anything else is pretty appropriate. Oko asked, what could be causing black screen on takeoff on newbie drone Acroby? Black screen or fuzzy screen? Black screen sounds like, and then OSD or no OSD? Sounds like there's a loss of power there somewhere. But I know they do some of their weird stuff for the OSD. So I think I think that has B sign OSD. So I always forget where in the chain B sign lands because it's like running on a UART. It's still black. Okay. That means VTX is still on, but camera's going out. So it's either camera power. It sounds like you're getting a brownout then on some kind of BEC that's feeding the camera. I guess that would be my guess. S. Gray says it'll be interesting what kind of risk assessment the FAA are going to bring. So something I said on the news is they are not like who required them to bring a risk assessment. That's the problem. Like, where is this requirement of risk assessment? Everybody keeps mentioning. Like that requirement will cause the laws. It's not a requirement to have the laws. Like we'll get more laws because there isn't a risk assessment, so everyone will be scared, and then we'll get laws because nobody knows the risk. Like a risk assessment, if anything, would stop the law from happening. At least that's my view of it. like there's no requirement that I can tell for them to actually have a risk assessment. Hey, there's shit in the air. They can fly bombs into things with shit in the air. We need to stop them. That's like all anybody needs to hear. And I don't know if there's a legal requirement otherwise. But I'd be interested to know because I'm obviously not a lawyer. So, but that's like where my head's at with it. Like if we try to be logical instead of like just hoping it'll work out, like that's kind of where that's you know what I would think. But we shall find out. That's what the courts are here to decide. All right. What else am I doing? I made those. Gonna need to go collect some fungus at some point. Where is my 72 Herbler? I think we're trying to get to 73. Is that right? You have to boost for stamps. That would be great. Esgray says you don't think the court would require it. For what? Like, for what law? For what part? What are they requiring it for? Like, who said they need it? Like, what law says it's required? That's kind of what I'm asking here. Like, everybody's just like, where's the risk assessment? It's like, okay, but who said they need it? Like, I understand what you're saying. Logically, there should be a risk assessment to know if there's a safety concern. But many things we do in this country are not based on that at all. They're based on, like, hey, make a bunch of laws because we're scared. And that's what's happened, like, forever. Like, there's never, like, there was no risk assessment, as far as I know, there was no risk assessment done to change all the airport security after 9/11. They just did it because it was going to be safer. Because, hey, we're going to stop people coming through. If they had done a risk assessment to see how it was working, from my understanding, they would have known that most people could just get around it, and it was only slowing things down and making them worse for most people. I don't know, but that's what I had heard from people who looked at the data later. So my guess is that there's no requirement for risk assessment. Congress told them, hey, you need to track people that are flying these things. You need to track the ground stations, and you need to track the things that are flying. And so that's what they're doing, which was a mandate by Congress. Um, I would like to know what like says they have to have a risk assessment other than logic. Because everybody keeps mentioning it, and I agree, but like we talked a little bit on the news like a few weeks ago. Bruce XJet looked at uh what the hell is the name of that group? It was like a think tank group that was proposing some regulations, and he had misinterpreted it as an FAA thing, but it was actually just them pitching something to the FAA. But part of what they talked about in there with their restricted guidelines was that there has been no risk assessment. And because of that, there's a good chance that when something bad happens, even if it was a 1 in a trillion chance for something bad to happen, when that bad thing happens, regardless of bad actors or who could have prevented it or anything, no risk assessment will be done. Nobody will care. And it will just, all of a sudden, a bunch of laws will get enacted over what we have now. And so their thought process was, why don't we get ahead of it and make X, Y, and Z laws so that we're covered and that they can't just blanket us with all these laws that stop us from being able to fly? Which is, I understand that thought process. Um, and the other thing they mentioned was that how would you currently do a risk assessment? Like, how would anybody know how risky it is? Consider how you take that data, right? So, like, you would have to collect that from people who are logging it and giving you information. Are you interested in giving the FAA all the information about how you fly illegally every day? No. So, like, how is a risk assessment even done in a case like this? I'm not even sure. And one of the ways they talk about doing that is actually regulating it. So, if everybody's tracked, everybody's logged, everybody's got numbers, and you know where everybody is and how they fly and all their stuff, suddenly you have a ton of data to show how safe it is. Because now you have millions of hours logged, just like you do with commercial aircraft, to show that here's how safe it is. Here's how few things happen with so many hours logged. So, like, I can definitely see the other side of it. I don't know. It'll be interesting to see how it all shakes out for sure. It's 100% for sure. Bruiser 81. It's a long way. Oh, that's one thing I could do. Where are they? Mhm. I'm also super interested to read the response from the RDQ, from RDQ to the FAA in that court case, and see if it's actually like, I don't know how they respond to that stuff. If it's just the same thing back, or if there's like more depth to it. Because they already made a bunch of points, and basically the FAA thing was like, we disagree. So I'm interested to see what the response to we disagree is. Hey, Mo's here. How's it going, Mo? Good to see you. The wonderful Wednesday. Nice. Mo's working from home again. That's cool. Good to hear. I assume that's a positive thing for you, but I think most people prefer it, especially when they're not at home every day. The cat's trying to drum up some physics jokes here. Red spider eggs. Today's a big day for Runescape. There's a new game mode in the game. I've mentioned before I play Iron Man, so I have to make all my stuff. I can't go buy it from the auction house or other players or trade anybody. There is a new game mode though called Group Iron Man, which is 2 to 5 people. You all have to start together, or if you start later, then you're not like in the same high scores, and you have to start from the first level and stuff. But yeah, there's a new Group Iron Man mode, 2 to 5 players. That seems to be pretty popular. Paying a bunch of big streamers to stream it. I think Ludwig is streaming it, or will be. And Charlie for Moist Critical, along with some others. Currently, RuneScape is number 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 13. Not horrible. 13 on Twitch. 87,000 viewers for Group Iron Man. The only joke I know off the top of my head uh, about science is chemistry, and it's the classic one. Little Johnny was a chemist. Little Johnny is no more. Because what Little Johnny thought was H2O was really H2SO4. Mo said this is poem. Yeah, but it's a funny poem, right? It's a comedic poem with a lesson. Where's all the FPV jokes? Who knows FPV jokes? If not, we gotta make some. Gotta workshop them. That's Grace. That's like a. That's more like a Jerry Seinfeld bit. Everybody keeps saying shine like a diamond, but diamonds don't shine, they reflect. There's no light coming out of there. That's like something Larry David would be mad about for 20 minutes and Curb Your Enthusiasm. and then tell 4 people about. As hilarious antics ensue. Why do they call it brushless if I'm getting it dirty all the time? I gotta clean it out. That's the kind of humor we're working with right now. Hey Blythen, how's it going? Good to see you, man. Blythen asked about shark bite stuff. I don't have HDMI goggles, so for me it doesn't make sense. Like I can't justify buying in with HDMI goggles and everything. All I have right now is DJI, so we'll get with another silly joke. Probably better not repeat it. No, that's more like a meme. That's like can make a meme picture out of that. It's an M&M. Don't worry, we don't ban bad jokes or yeah, I don't know. It did be pretty bad for me to ban you. Pretty bad. Time for another farm run. I always forget where the hell I'm going. Okay, I need that salt thing. Yep. So that's Weiss, and then Trollheim, and then Camelot, and then Ardennes, and then Falador, and Fastidius. There we go. That's what I was trying to do. Book. Nope. Already on. Okay. Oh, we're almost out. Luca said friends don't let friends auto scan. That's true. That's just good. That's good information. All right. Go try to get a farming level. Bet we can. I bet we can. Sure, nothing's dying. He's good. Oh, herbs are done. Leadfinger says, "What voltage do you land your whoop batteries? Gearing up to whoop race with full send this winter. I don't want to smoke my packs. If you have like traditional packs, like the Tiny Whip HV, the GNB, the I don't know, basically the old tattoos, any any of the old classic style batteries, then you are going to want to fly them typically down to like 3-ish. You'll be able to tell pretty quick when they're like sagging hard, but most of those you can go down to like 3.2, 3.1, 3-ish before you're like actually going to kill the batteries, just because those things don't last that long anyway. However, the difference is if you're running the newbie drone nitro nectars, the tattoo squares. I think the Weebleed is selling them now. The Weebleeds, any of those like square cell lipos, the 1S's, you want to run more like 3.5, 3.4. Like mine at 3.3, mine will sag from 3.3 to like 2.8 in no time. But all the milliamp hours, like that's after a really long flight because all the milliamp hours are at the top. So you get like all your normal flight time, but with a higher voltage overall. You just don't want to drag them down that low. So I think it depends on what cells you're running. Cool. Those new square tattoos. Yeah, those seem to be solid. Harvest some snape grass. Mo says, "What's a good sub 75 millimeter 3S whoop?" No idea. No idea. It's like out of my ballpark. Sounds crazy town. Lead fingers, don't worry. T Dog will be there to beat you. But yes, yeah, that's some good competition. It definitely would be good. Uh, sure. A lot of those guys are pretty fast, and it only makes people faster, at least in my experience, to race around people that are fast. So, oh no, all that anything that size 3S is like, what? That's too heavy. There's a reason you're using 3S because it's heavy as shit. So, I'm all good. It's like a category I'm just not. I don't keep up with. Cool Cat's always got the interesting question. Um, what would your money no object 70-liter FPV rucksack have in it? Uh, uh, well, I don't care about sub 250, so I don't know. It would have a whoop, a TP3, like I don't know. I have like a B brain. It would have a TP3, um, and it would have some kind of 5 inch, just like a standard 5 inch, some sort, and then uh, I don't know, maybe a Tango 2 or Mambo or something. But I mean, I'm fine with a T16. I don't know. Like I wouldn't change anything from what I have now, even like if I have a money no object thing. Cause like I don't know, T16's fine radio. The I don't know. I have the 5 inch I want, so. Clockwork says, does everyone in the stream understand what it is that you're doing? If you mean in the game, no, probably not. But that's not why anybody's here. Or that's not, presumably not why anybody's here. Yeah, Mo, I know about the Mob 7 HD. I just don't understand the point of it. Like I don't get it. Like why is it on 75? Um, I don't know. It's 65 millimeter whoop, cool cat. That's what I would have. I mean, yeah, I don't. That's all I need. Like an Ackerby. Okay, what am I doing? I need to go start rolling around. Yeah, for me, just a little simple 65mm whip is great for the how. And then outside, I'm either flying like a little toothpick or a 5" or something. Maybe like that 3.5, like the Baby Hawk HD or something, but I don't know. I don't really need too much. Unless you break it, you know? Krunks here. How's it going, Krunks? Good to see you. Krunks got some Miracle Alien Cookies 1, Mac 1. It's a good cut. Is that the one that tastes like or is like savory? That's the only way I know how to describe it off the top of my head. There's like 2 cuts of Mac I've had. One is like savory, and one is just like a weird alien OG sort of thing, which is kind of what I would expect from alien cookies, but cool cat. People definitely are power looping dining room tables, that's for sure. I don't know about who, but definitely quite a few people. For instance, T Dog that I mentioned earlier. He'll power loop the shit out of a table. Um, but he races in acro, so what you gonna do? He's crazy. He cray. Mo, I have seen Squid Game. It was alright. I don't know that it was like mind blowingly good, but it was alright. It's like way overhyped because that's what everybody does these days. If there's anything halfway decent, it's like Hype City. That was pretty good. Ron says I feel like clones are like Pokemon to growers. Seeds definitely can be. And some growers have just like thousands of seed. Yeah, Leadfinger says the whoops T Dog's building are awesome. Or acro awesome. I'm using his build with the 22 KKV motors to 27, so it's fast. Yeah, definitely. Definitely. It's hard to blame anything but yourself when you race a quad built by somebody who's super fast. I think AK does custom builds too. And if you lose with one of those, it's really just your fault. I don't really want to give anything away at all with Squid Game, to be honest with you. Should either go watch the trailers they put out to see what they want to show, or you should just go watch the first episode on Netflix. Uh, if you're curious, because you'll know pretty quick. But I don't want to give anything away. I'm a big no spoiler kind of guy, and to me, spoilers are like any indication. I don't know. One of my favorite things about any media at all, video games or anything, is just going in completely blind. Video games especially, and like uncovering this mystery. Uh, and yeah, I don't know. The more mystery you can get, the better. Edoc says, think about 20,000 kb is a sweet spot for indoor racing. Even 25 feels overkill. Yeah, it depends on the pilot. Most pilots are going to definitely not need that headroom. If you find your max throttling around the course, then you need more headroom. And you're just like hitting every gate, then 100%. Like, and that's T-Dog. But most people do not need it. That's for sure. S. Grace says, come visit us in the East, cool cat. Yeah, go visit S. Grace. Anybody around the Colorado area is always welcome. I don't typically go, but there's some great races at Full Send FPV, and then they do a bar race as well. So lots of good whoop racing here in Denver. We had a lot more before COVID, as it goes, you know. Yeah, but E-Dog, AK, and T-Dog are like head to head, and I think T-Dog won like their grudge match at the competition they were at. They're like right up on each other. So, I mean, I could definitely if he says he wants them, then he can use them all he wants. That's where I'm at with that. Also, kind of depends on course design too. Uh, you know, if you're flying courses that are super tight or have a lot of curves and stuff, then obviously not going to be able to use it. But if you're flying on courses that have got a lot of punch areas and stuff, then you're going to get more benefit out of it. We did like a Tiny Hawk series for a little while, and that was the ones I went to that were all designed so that you could get some like speed up by going like through the store. Cool Cat asked about a pub where they've incorporated a racetrack. Some places just set it up and then take it back down. That's at least typically the places I've seen. But yeah, they do bar races here, and in some other places too. Yeah, says the beard is getting more and more majestic. Yeah, over time, it's, it's getting there. I don't know how much more distance I'm going to get anytime soon, but Yeah, Jesse Perkins, Mr. Tiny Whip, has got an awesome course down at Tiny Whip headquarters. Oh.
Level up completed.
All right. 69, a funny number for me. Making our way. $70 farming for the last quest in the game. What we're looking for right now. For anybody who's just joining us, looks like we have a few people here. You're welcome to ask any question you like. Comments, concerns, anything like that. Just toss them down in the chat. Otherwise, we're just hanging out. Yeah, if you guys do end up meeting each other, please let me know that you're not dead. That would be cool. Udoc says I need to make my way to Full Sun some point in the future. Is Memorial Weekend the one to go? I'm not 100% sure what their plans are, what their schedule looks like. There's typically races every week, but it kind of just depends. Probably a better question for somebody who goes there all the time, or Dave, who's running it. They have a good Facebook page. I'm sure Dave will get right back to you. Oh yeah, whatever day Whoop Wars is, that'll definitely be pretty busy. There were quite a few people there last year. Just throwing it out there, I do have a Discord of my own if you guys wanted to join. That is in the description down there. You can always pop in there if that's helpful at all. I have some links in there for some interesting information. If you ever want to go like learn some heavy stuff or get some general information, there's a little section in there with stuff you might not know or interesting stuff that I thought was pretty cool. Like all the paid streamers are online for RuneScape. That's interesting. Lots of folks watching over there. Good to see the game getting some popularity, even though they paid for it. Oh, interesting. I'll edit that description. It lasted forever. Hey Mo, how's it going? Thanks so much for the donation there. $5. Mo says, did you say you have a Discord? I do. I'm gonna put that link in the chat and then also I'll repaste that down in the description and edit it to properly say the right thing. You can also find a link to my Patreon down there if for some reason you'd like to support me monthly. That would be super handy, of course. And then there's also a email address on the screen and down there for the PayPal if you ever want to donate through PayPal instead of on the YouTubes. Anything is always appreciated, but obviously no obligations. Reed's here. How's it going, Reed? Forced vacation, 10-day quarantine. Interesting. Glad to see you're enjoying the RuneScape. I don't know how many people are, but that's okay. Cool to be able to hang out with folks. Cat says, I've seen that you're very helpful with other pilots on Discord. Yeah, that's pretty much a lot of my day is answering questions or figuring stuff out on Discord if I can. I'm a big fan of doing that. Any way I can help. Unique FPV says if I tune my quad to the limit and then run out of fresh props, can I just turn the filter sliders back to the left a bit to keep from smoking the motors? Generally speaking, yes. Especially on stock tune, but even on like I don't know. That depends on how hard you push your D term. That's probably what I would say there. Uh, Even if you lower your filters, it's possible that it'll be noisy enough that like a high D would burn up your motors, but especially because people turn D min off a lot. So I would still test it, but generally speaking, yes, that is the case. It's just hard to say that for sure, and D term can get real oscillating sometimes. So you gotta be careful with that. Fucking hot farming content you guys are watching here. So I guess in this game it's not much different than like combat or something. They all kind of look similar. So I had this hump in my quad buying where I was like, buy a bunch of stuff, and then I don't need that much stuff. So what are we going to go do? Play fish carambons. what the code is. Where is it? DKP. Nick says, "Do you think if Orca ever comes out with their digital FPV system, it will be compatible with their current goggles, or do you think they will design a whole new goggle?" I think they specifically said that all future accessories, and the implication was their digital system would be compatible with their first set of goggles. Pretty sure that's what that statement said. Because people got scared. Hey, Brandon, how's it going? Good to see you. Let me see if I can find that statement real quick. There we go. Need to do this, that. We're going to test something here. Like that. Hey, it worked. So Orca said, final update deserves some clarification. Every new product and accessory is and will be interoperable and compatible with the original model and other way around. We're not stopping showing support. So to me, every new product and accessory that has to include digital. So wow, okay, lots of talking. That was quick. Catching up on chat here. Cool cat. I'm not sure why. Orca is definitely an analog goggle. It's just a fancy one. Mo, I've heard 4.3 is on a feature freeze currently, so as far as I know, there should be a release candidate pretty soon. Yeah, EDOC, that milestone is not a great thing, I think, because they keep adding and changing and moving. S Grace, if anybody told you a month that's not like in a week, then they don't know. That's what I'll say. Brandon says it doesn't really matter when it comes out. You can play with nightlies if you really want to. Yeah, but honestly, they kind of fucked that up recently because now they changed sliders in the new configurator. So now you have to use an older nightly configurator. So like you can't use the current nightly configurator if you're not on a current 4.3 build. It's kind of a mess. That's part of the reason I like release candidates because they all match up. So it's a real mess. If you don't know, there's a big slider change that just happened in 10.8. So if you're on 10.8 configurator, do not update to the new nightly unless you update your yeah, your board as well. You remove the feed forward thingy, and now you just drag feed forward to the bottom to turn it off. Crazy. I don't really mess with it too much, but there was a warning on I think the Betaflight group about it. Brandon's got a volcano bag going. Very cool. S Grace says same with D-Min. Interesting. I did not know that. Like in the last like week or something they changed that? Or you mean that's just an overall change? Here we go. So this is just so you guys know. Important 4.3 note. Users of nightly developer builds must use latest nightly. Users of older must use an older version of configurator. So now there's like a weird fork in the nightlies. It's just definitely going to be a little more difficult. Now you know. Oh, that's not even full screen, huh? That's pretty funny. Oh well. Not sure about the analog OSD tuning stuff. Yeah, I would have liked to seen like something like 10.8.1 or something. Like I don't know, any of those like breaking changes. I guess they're a nightly, and that's kind of the point of it. Always why I'm nervous about recommending nightlies to people. Kind of annoying too that so many boards come with 4.3. I mean, I understand why, but because it's been so long. But like, are they in a different branch, Brandon? I didn't actually go look. GitHub, Betaflight, nightly. No, it looks like it's just that same branch. Okay, so my question is like, yeah, so normal nightly branches. So my question is like, somebody goes and buys, a new board, like the ELRS SPI boards, like eDoc mentions, or like the H7, the Beast H7 board that has the 4.3 Barrow, and they're not going to go read like the Betaflight message thing. So they're going to go download the nightly configurator because they're supposed to have 10.8 for 4.3, and then their sliders are going to be all fucked up. So it's like, man, I don't know, man. Just different decisions would be great to be made like that. Because like, even if you don't think users should be doing it, there's people shipping boards on it. It's like, hey, sorry. Oh, we got a clue bottle. That's pretty rare. Got a hard clue from fishing. Holy shit. Can't do it. Don't have a rune heraldic shield. Dropping right away. Cool. Um, I need to put that on next week's news so we can do a PSA on that shit. Oh. They added that. Cool Cat Nightly is like there's a new build every night because it's in active development. So my understanding is at the end of the night or whenever, everything's packaged together, approved for that night's changes, and then you get a new version of it the next night. So basically every day there's a new build and that like has the same, has X number of changes and you can test them and then keep changing and building and changing and building, making sure everything works together. And then over time, you have a feature set and then that feature set will go for a release candidate. So yeah, like Brandon says, test builds before release candidate testing stage. So once the nightlies are all settled and they've done a feature lock and everything looks good, then they'll move to release candidate and then start letting more people or telling more people to test it. Um, and then work through a feature lock while they try to make sure everything's working well. So yeah, Brandon says sometimes you find a build break stuff and sometimes you discover something's been broken but unnoticed for like 3 builds. You got to trace it back. Testing is fun. Yeah, that's kind of part of the nightlies too. Is you have a chain of like, oh, here's everyday shit. So if something was broken for the last week, we can actually go back and figure out like, oh, what changed there and who changed it and how, and that sort of thing. Before like a customer's got his hands on it, or in this case, customer is free user. I'm actually going to shoot a message to Bardwell about that developer builds thing. So that's actually going to be a problem for new people. Yeah, Brandon, the problem is how are you going to know which one matches when you get a like like if I get that H7 board from like the Beast H7, are they doing nightly builds like is there a guarantee that my like I can flash that H7 up? And I guess will I even know? I mean, I guess it needs to be standard procedure for people now. Like would they get like a board with 4.3 on it that they buy that they need to flash to the newest nightly? But then what if the nightly's been broken for like 3 builds for some feature they need? Then they're gonna have to go into GitHub and then figure out and talk to people or look at the issue tracker or something, you know? Like I don't know, there's a lot of pieces there for somebody who doesn't know what they're doing and just bought a board that happens to have 4.3 on it. Which is unfortunately like too many boards. Anybody who flashes their own 4.3 though, I 100% agree. That's on you. You know what you're doing when you're on the nightlies, or you should. But Carbon Cage is here. How's it going, Carbon? Back to sleep. That's probably a good idea. Brandon says the boards with 4.3 right now should use 10.7. It works fine as the baked-in 4.3 builds don't have SDFT. Okay, well that's good to know. So the recommendation should just be stay on 10.7 instead of trying to use 10.8 with 4.3. And do the SPI stuff through the CLI. Okay. That seems fair. You update to the Hydra PR. So none of them are shipping with that, Brandon, that you know of? That's just like it's a nightly change. Well, thanks, Brandon. Maybe I'll shoot a message to like Alessandro and Jai and stuff and see if anybody knows any more info or has anything to add to that before we talk about it on the news. From the ELRS side of things with the baked in firmware. S. Gray says, I hope we can skip nightlies for a while when 4.3 releases, coming from an LR flight aspect. Yeah, I mean, most of my boards are still running 4.2 something, so. And obviously the FetTech board is running FetTech from a couple months ago. More efficient carambons. Carambons are a special food in this game because they heal a lot, but also you can what's called one-ticking them. This game runs on ticks, so everything happens like in 0.6 second updates. So every 0.6 seconds, or 100 times a minute. Yeah. So basically, like when you eat food, it can take. There's a delay after you eat food, but carambons can be eaten right away after another piece of food. So you can do what's called tick eating, and you can eat a big piece of food plus a carambon, which you can't do with many other foods. So they're good for bossing because you can get a bunch of health back real quick. I still think it's pretty exciting. Maytech is getting into the game with their power amped telemetry transmissions. They've got a 22.5 dB diversity receiver, like a 22.5 dB telemetry output diversity receiver. So that's pretty neat for people who like that. And then Axis has got a module coming out. So hopefully that'll be nice. It's a 1 watt. And the actual internals that I've seen on the HD box are really nice. So you can hope. Yeah, especially for telemetry, it's pretty good. Oh. There's also like a 20 dB beta FPV and another 20 dB Maytech. I think that 22.5 dB is one of the higher telemetry outputs we've seen. And that's actually this guy here. 22.5 to 23 dB. Definitely Maytech makes good stuff, so expecting this to be pretty good. We've got this one, and then they've got another one that's 20 dB with a single ceramic on it instead. Brandon, do you know what the Ghost power amp is? Like how much what the Ghost telemetry output is? Yeah, I would think, I mean, knowing how LoRa works, to me, I would think that, and I honestly don't know how they're sending it back, but if you're sending it back over a similar LoRa process, then I would think you could send it in way smaller packets because you're just sending back a little bit of data instead of those thousand microsecond channels for the 4 sticks. Plus the switches and stuff, but just the 4 sticks are so big. Wonder how many bits telemetry is. Ask somebody about that. Brandon says you can miss several telemetry reports before the radio will panic. Yeah, for sure. Which is really all you need. I mean, you don't need live telemetry unless you're using it for something functional, which you really shouldn't be. So it's okay if you miss a packet or three. I think. I think the two corollaries with Laura are supposed to be like, how loud you're talking, which is like the power output, and then how well you can hear somebody. And with Laura, it's easier because you can talk slower. And if you talk slower with the same amount of information, there's more chance to hear the person. Something like that, I believe, is the idea. Because that's the spreading factor versus the whatever the other thing is. I always forget exactly. Wasn't explained very well, but Laura be fancy. That's what you need to know. I don't know if you guys saw, but Twitch today got basically all the data stolen from it. So if you guys have a Twitch account without two-factor, or you use that password in other places, you should go change your password in other places because people have your username and password. Yeah, that's what I was saying. Twitch just had a big security breach. If you use that password for other things, get over there. Or get to those other places and change it. Or they are freaking out. Yeah, it was a big breach. They said basically the whole website was downloaded. Pretty crazy. Perfect. Yeah, if you don't already do this, you should use different passwords for your different places. One of the most annoying things I'll tell you though, and the reason that yeah, I don't know, I have so many issues is like if you don't use a password manager and you try to like make passwords with a theme or some idea that like a basically what's the best way to put it? If if you're not using a password manager so everything is random and you're trying to remember your passwords, then those stupid companies who make it so that when you change a password, you can't use your last ones, but mainly the ones that say like, oh, you can't use special characters, or you have to use special characters, or you need to use at least 5 numbers, or whatever, are the worst because they're like, yeah, those make it worse because then there's a subset of things that it could be. Uh, they don't improve anything. And also, when you encourage people to use these rules, then they make the passwords simpler so that they can remember them. Um, it's a problem. So let people choose what they want to choose. Yeah, cool cat. Facebook and WhatsApp are down, but Google doesn't have anything to do with that. Google is all good to go. Oh. Facebook, WhatsApp, and Instagram, I think, because they're all on the same deal. Cool cat. There's no evidence of that, of course. That's like a random claim, like everything else. It's like people just making shit up. There was a Facebook whistleblower in a similar time. There was a Facebook DNS issue, so people are just saying they're linked. I don't know. That stuff really annoys the shit out of me. No offense to you, S. Grace, but like, it's making shit up. So Correlation is not causation. It's what courts of law are for, and evidence. No, I don't think there's a link between it, S. Grace, and even if I did, I would not say it to other people in a chat like it's real. So that's, see how you did that? You don't know if it's real or not. You're guessing that it's real, and you said it like a fact to someone in a Facebook chat or in a YouTube chat. So that's how made up BS spreads. So that's the problem. You didn't guess at it. You didn't say it was possible. You said this is why it happened to someone in a chat who did not know about it. Like that's exactly how fake news works. That's literally exactly how it works. If you're going to make a statement like that, say, this is what I think, or this might have happened, or here's some information that says it could have happened. Not like, here's what happened. It's just like, that shit frustrates the hell out of me. I spend a lot of time every week making sure my facts are straight. I have sources and information, you know? That's how fake news works, that's crazy. You're literally exactly perpetuating fake news. Everybody's talking about it, but did you see evidence for it? Did you see how it works? Did you like Google it and spend any amount of time making sure that was why? And like that's my whole problem. Again, it's not like against you, but it's against like that idea. You got to make sure you're like spending some time doing any kind of credibility checking before you say something. Because a lot of people are saying it because a lot of other people said it because a lot of other people said it. Like maybe Cool Cat would have gone and said it if I didn't correct it because you said it in chat like it was a fact and they didn't feel like looking it up. So like, and then it's just this chain, and then like, oh, 5 people said it. Oh, so now it's real, but nobody looked it up. Nobody spent any time to figure it out. You know, correlation is not causation. It doesn't matter if it's strange. Like that's cool. Say that it's strange. Don't say they're linked. That's the difference. It's that nobody's having a problem with you saying they're strange. And then we can talk about why it is or isn't possible, and what DNS means, and where the data is, and all that kind of stuff. But yeah. Just make sure you're like not making claims out of a loss of fact. If you don't verify something, most of the time you should just not say it. That's been my rule on the internet. It's like if you don't know it, if you haven't tested it or heard it from somebody you are legitimately aware of, yeah, I don't know. So make sure you're careful about what you say, because it does matter. You could say that, Cool Cap, but I'm not letting that one go like that. The sentence was Facebook shut everything down for a reset because they knew she had proof of the claims. There was no guess. Just because something seems obvious does not mean it's true. That is not how things work. That's not how facts work. We do facts here. We don't do guesses. If you want to guess, say the guess. Don't say it like a fact. That's all that I'm saying. It's not so obvious to most people. I don't think it's so obvious. I think that's really dumb. To what does DNS have to do with storing things on a server? How did the DNS going down affect the whistleblower comments? What's happened to that data now? Where did it go? What's the tracking for it? How did the logs get deleted? Where's the history? How's the chain work? Who did it? How did the other people not know about it? Et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Do you have any of that information? Like, it's just like ridiculous to say that stuff, man. Think about what you're saying. You are claiming facts by making a statement that it's true. So, and seems so obvious means that you feel like there's an overwhelming majority of facts that it's true. So again, like those are just things people say when they have facts. Like, sorry if you're not using the language the right way, but like that's how you use the language, because people will take it as fact, and that's important. And I mean, this is my chat, so that's my rules. Shit's important. Ram Donko's here. How's it going, Ram? Good to see you.
Level up completed.
You got a fishing level. We're gonna have so many Karambon. Got all the Karambon. Yeah. That finger says he's about to smoke some fools. Sky's about to smoke some fools tonight on DRL. I hope so. I'm hoping for some upsets. I want the season to go all around the place, back and forth, up and down, etc. Also, I really like the smack talk in the booth. Vanover used to do it, and now it's Chief doing it, which is cool. S-Bender's here. How's it going, S-Bender? Blythe asked where to watch DRL. It's on DRL's Twitter. No, it's only NBC Sports, NBC, and Twitter, I believe, are the places. Esponder says OG Vistas are back. Yes, they are. Yeah, Brandon, they stream it on Twitter. Yes. It's a thing. I don't know. It's been a thing for years. They streamed it on Twitter for the last 3 years? No, again, everybody, you can watch a DRL on Twitter. Is the place. Not YouTube, not Twitch, not TikTok. Twitter. Go to Twitter. Or on TV. I believe it is also broadcast on NBC Sports Network. Yeah, there's like a Twitter. It's like, yeah, you can watch the replays from like 2019 DRL on Twitter. Well, that's because Twitter's a cesspool, you doc. That's been my experience. There used to be. Cool Cat says, "Can you bet on DRL?" Yeah, in Vegas, you could in the last year or two. I'm not sure if you can now. I'm pretty sure they added it in 2019 or 2020, so I would assume you still can. Yeah, I don't know too much about the Facebook algorithms and the Instagram stuff, but I know that YouTube counts a dislike just like a like, so you'll get recommended something even if it has dislikes, because it's for the similar reason that negative engagement is still engagement. Yeah, should be a good one tonight. When does that come on? I always forget the time shift or whatever. 8 p.m. EST. Okay. So like 4 hours, 3.5 hours, something like that. Junko, I do not know what Time Bandits is, but I don't know. They put on their Twitter EST. So it seems like a movie I wouldn't like at all. I might watch it though, just to see if I like it. But like Sean Connery and John Cleese is like, oh my god, that's something my dad would like for sure. Meat says RTX off. Okay. How's that? We can make it fancy. We could add shadows and stuff. Mo says, since we're talking about things to watch, check out Jim Can't Swim. Never heard of that. Yeah, but I don't know who this person is. Terry Gilliam? I don't know who that is. Oh, Monty Python. Yeah, I'm not into that at all. I've seen like part of it a little bit. It's not my style at all. I think it's so overhyped. So overhyped. Like it's not funny at all to me. But I think it's generational. Like it's all like a bunch of people quoting stuff. So it's like it's what Monty Python turned into for me. Compost Pile says it looks like you're drinking out of a lake. Good one. Yeah, we gotta collect a bunch of water. But no, we're fishing currently. Maybe we'll turn that off actually. It's kinda like I don't know why. Doc says there's a pilot's heart rate PR and the Beta Flight 4.3 milestone. That's pretty funny. What is this Jim Can't Swim thing? Oh yeah, I know about that. The JCS criminal thing? Is what you're talking about? I've seen quite a few of those. Never even heard of this film Swan Song. Who gets as many things are ruined by people obsessing over things they've enjoyed vis-a-vis. This guy says, oh, it's hilarious. All the time you're hearing someone referring to a gag out of context. Yeah, it's pretty common. I often will just tell somebody, hey, this thing is really good, you have to watch it, and then just try to shut up about it. And then I'll mention it again like in a week and make sure they've taken the time to watch it. But like, yeah, in high school and middle school and stuff, I used to hear constantly like 5 pounds. How could a 5 pound bird? I don't know, 5 ounce bird carry a 1 pound coconut or whatever. It's like that is not funny out of context. Then when you hear it in the show, you're like, I don't understand why this is funny because it's not surprising to me. Yeah, I don't know because it's all been said to me already. I'm sure it was funny at the time. I was like that too. I mean, there was plenty of stuff I used to watch that I did the same shit about as you do when you're kids. I've seen The Matrix one time when I was a kid. I don't really remember it, so I don't really care about the new Matrix, but I don't know, maybe I'll watch it. This is another thing that's been ruined by people saying it's amazing or terrible. Like, I've heard the second and third movies are just the worst and way worse than the first movie and all kinds of shit, so. I've heard of Clockwork Orange, but I don't really know anything about it. Yeah, but I don't like action flicks, neat. That's the problem. Like, they don't really do anything for me. I'm there for, like, the mystery and intrigue and interest of the story. Like that's the whole point of the show for me. I want to know what the Matrix is about and who's in the Matrix and why are they in the Matrix and who's been in it and why and who's attached to what and shit. Like that's the interesting thing to me, not the fighting at all. The fighting is super boring to me. Like I just watched all of Stargate and I would like literally skip combat scenes. Like 5 minutes of combat, I would just skip through it and then find out what actually happened during the combat and then watch the rest of the story. It's just boring. It's like, okay, let's shoot each other for a while. Like, what? Who cares? I don't know. I get why some people like action, but it's not for me. It's a movie, so the action is already resolved. It's not like we're watching two people actually fight. Now I sound like some rich asshole on an island, but yeah, SG1 was like all about world building to me. SG1 was so good. Stargate Universe is really good too. I'll tell you what was horrible is fucking Stargate Universe. Or no, which is the one the two ran together. Stargate Atlantis was the good one. Stargate 1 and Stargate Atlantis were great. And then fucking Stargate Universe comes along, and it's a totally different show, and it's horrible. I just watched them all for the first time. I didn't know anything about it. I didn't read anything about them. I just went into them and watched all the Stargates, and I got to Universe, and I got 4 episodes in, and it was horrible. It was horrible. It's horrible. The show is not Stargate. The show is like drama. It's so shitty. Oh. Yeah, teen angst nonsense. 100%. It's like, let's show how this guy's mad at this guy, and now this guy's mad at this guy. Oh, these guys are mad at each other. Oh, these guys have a bad day with each other. It's like, who gives a fuck? Let's fix the ship. Like, God, sorry, that shit makes me mad. I can't. If the second season is actually better, then I will go watch it. But I've literally stopped at like episode 4 of Universe because it's so fucking bad. Made me angry. I watched the first one that wasn't like stuck in the ship. Like I think it was 4. It was the first 3 of the air, and then I think 4 I watched. They get over and actually start using the Stargate. Awesome. That's great to hear. That's great to hear. Why don't you just dial us home? That's my impression of Stargate Universe. Just dial us home. Why can't you dial us home? Why aren't you working on dialing us home? And then a dramatic shot. We don't have enough power. We don't have enough air. I'm hoping if they do new Stargate, because I saw rumors of that. I think that's why I ended up watching it. Is because like there's rumors of it. But yeah, it's really, I really liked SG-1 and I really liked Atlantis. Later, Mo. Take it easy. Have fun on your work call. I watched a little bit of Farscape. I just didn't watch all of it. I watched like some of it and kind of got into it and then fell off. Farscape seemed cool though. You know, I heard somebody complain. Like I was watching stuff about Universe after I like was really just mad about it. And somebody was like, "Oh yeah, Universe is good because like all SG-1 does and all Atlantis does is like, hey, there's a thing we got to take care of. Let's go work and take care of that thing. There's going to be drama along the way, but we all make it back and through the Stargate just in time as it closes." It's like, yeah, that was good fucking TV. That's why. Like that was a good thing. That's the point of it, you know? It's like, god damn. Let's break the formula, because why would anybody like it? Oh, I don't know. There's a show that was on TV for fucking 10 seasons? 2 different shows that were on TV? Alright. Fucking ranting here. Meat says Farscape is pretty great too. It gets very fucking weird. Yeah, I think it started to get really weird, and that's kind of what I fell off of it for, but I need to go back and watch it again. Babylon 5 is really good world building too. Interesting. Get past super dated CGI. Yeah, some of the moments in Stargate also make me like all the Stargates make me mad though. They do it a lot in Universe, but just the episodes I've seen, but they also do it in the other Stargates. It's like I don't know. Some of the stuff is just like if there's logic there, like why don't you just follow the logic instead of like something they said a lot is like I don't know, like where did the ZPMs come from? Like why wouldn't you be looking for a ZPM lab? I guess they kind of were. Trying to think of some of the other big issues I had. How did they not realize there was another symbol like they did in Universe? That's fucking retarded. Also, a big problem I have with it is like I don't know who was writing it, but how did nobody consider that like you see in the show somebody will dial on the Stargate and then the other side will start going and there's only like 1 or 2 symbols in. It's just how is that possible? because all the stargates in the universe would be going, because that's part of this the address for like 80 stargates or whatever. It's like that doesn't make any sense. Do we just not see the other 79 stargates like slowly lighting up and then dimming? You know? Yeah, there's six symbols plus one, but then universe adds a eighth symbol. One is the like the location symbol, and then yeah, it's a good fucking show though. I'll tell you that. Meat says, "Do not look behind the curtain." I mean, dialing device. Yeah, definitely. There's definitely a few things that are like, also the end of the show. Not going to spoil anything, but that was pretty. It's a pretty wild ending. The way they end it. So yeah, I've seen all the seasons. Pete says, "I've been watching the Foundation show from Apple. Pretty good. Interesting. Haven't heard too much about that." Yeah, I haven't watched any of the new Star Wars, like 7, 8, or 9 or anything. Mandalorian. I didn't watch any of that stuff. Brian asked about the Zats. I feel like that one works okay. Like, it's got to be just some short like time period, right? If you're zatted like in the next like 2 minutes or something. That's a good one though. There's like what's his name's gun in I always forget his name. Uh, Terrible with names. The big crazy guy who got mad at everybody. Um, in Atlantis. God, I always forget his name. Anyway, he had that gun that doesn't seem to ever need reloading. There were like a couple scenes where it seemed like there was maybe like another thing for it or something. But yeah, he had that crazy gun that nobody else had that was from the what are they called? The people that travel across the universe that oh man. See, this is what happens when I talk about a show that I've never talked about to anybody before. It was like, oh, I don't remember any of the fucking names. Ronan, yes. I know all the characters and what happened, but I don't remember any of the names. It's like the people with the brown ship, and they got him with in this time when he was there, and she acted like she liked him, and she didn't. It's like I don't fucking remember anybody's name. Brian asked, did anyone come forth after the news live stream with information about why a faster peripheral bus would make any difference in beta flight? No. In fact, I was told by multiple people that there's no reason it would make any difference. So I think as well as like you mentioned in the live stream chat. Yeah, cool cat. I never tried to read any of the Tolkien books, other than I think I tried to read The Hobbit or read The Hobbit a long time ago. But the movies were pretty good. Yeah, it felt followable for sure. Brandon wants to know if anyone here uses shark bite. William asked if I watched Red Dwarf. I have not. Oh, is that like dry British humor? Is that like Are You Being Served? Is that a deep cut? Does anybody know that? Or is that not a deep? I don't know. In the U.S., that's a deep cut. Yeah, Mo, we used to get Are You Being Served on PBS, and my dad used to watch it. I can still hear the little cash register thing. Was Red Dwarf the one where they use ridiculous levels of enhance? Yeah, that's. I kind of remember that scene from like a meme thing. See the original what? I don't even know what we're talking about. Is there a remake of Red Dwarf? Also, I like The Office, the American Office, way better than the British Office. But that's likely because it's made for a U.S. audience. So. Okay, says American Office was really good, and I love Steve. What's his face? Yeah, Steve Carell. I like Ricky Gervais as well. I just didn't like the just didn't like it as much. Just and again, it might be because of the way the antics work regionally, but for me, the Jim Dwight thing was really good. Really, definitely held the early show together. And then yeah, they just developed a lot of good characters. Compost piles used on shark bite if Brandon has questions about it. Edox says American Office had a better supporting cast. Yeah, supporting cast seemed really solid. Like all those people seem like memorable people. Creed, oh my god, Creed was just written so well, and he's such a good guy. Oh my god, Creed is hilarious. They say when Dwight sits Creed down, and he's like, "What do you see in that? What is this picture?" He's like, "Cannabis, indica," and he's like, "No, it's marijuana. You can go." Somebody's got. It's like so good, man. There's Scranton Strangler. There's all this, so many good parts of the show. Only one I can't get through still is Scott's Tots. Yeah, Northern Lights Cannabis Indica. Yeah, Scott's Tots, dude, is the worst, but all the other ones I can handle. There's literally a subreddit that's like r/ can't watch Scott's Tots. Indica is not a myth, compost pile. It just depends on how you look at it. Indica is a plant, a varietal that was grown in certain areas. It's very clearly. If you want to get into like Karastanica and Afghanica and stuff, you can. But like the traditional idea of like short fat indica and tall lanky sativa is definitely true. I just work in the cannabis industry, so I hear a lot of shit like that from people that are serious. Fucking Karamblon City up in here. Meat growth pattern comes from heritage, though. Those large fat leaves, those the tall fatness of the plant, certain terpene profiles, all those all come from regions because those regions benefited those plant growth profiles. Tall, lanky grows in places that need to stretch farther, or then that were hotter. So, also you can, I mean, it's very clear when you grow plants. Like growth pattern is based on those varietals, those like things. Everything is a hybrid, but also like you could still see all that influence in there. They're really not random though. I mean, it depends on how you look at random, right? Like, I don't know. I wouldn't call them random. You can easily backcross, like BX a plant, and then get to something where you get one or two out of a seed that's not random. You'll know what you're going to get. William said, when I smoked pot, we didn't care of the strain. Yeah, that's, yeah, but even like a while back, I mean, my dad talks about buying certain strains, so like a long time ago. I mean, does Leafly use indica and sativa correctly? No. But I think if you grow, you know what an indica and sativa means and what it is, like for any amount of time. That's what I would say. I mean, with the way everything's growing now, at least in most legal states, everything's been pushed down to 60, 70, 80 days because it's just not worth it to grow much longer. So, like, when you're seeing a sativa, well, that's because you're growing seeds from shitty companies. That's what I'm saying, meat. That's like you should be BXing something or like actually F1ing something properly to get like something standard out of the seed. You shouldn't be getting a mix. Buy from somebody legit. That's what I would say. Like an ethos seed, you should get two or three. I mean, it really depends, but like if you buy a HSO Blue Dream seed, you're gonna get two crosses. You're gonna get the indica leaning HSO Blue Dream, or you're gonna get a sativa leaning HSO Blue Dream. There's like literally two that come out of an HSO Blue Dream seed. Ethos isn't shitty. That's exactly what I'm saying. You can buy ethos and like actually get like one or two or three things, not like 20. If you're getting 20 things out of ethos, you're not buying real ethos. Or you're buying like something that's not like actually stabilized on purpose. Nefrain says, do you notice between 60 and 120 FPS DJI cameras? Yes, 100%. I can tell the frame rate and the latency is a nightmare because you got to fly in fucking high quality mode. Low latency mode is so much better. But also, like, nobody I know grows seeds here in Colorado. Like, other than, like, hey, I grew a few so I can have clones. So, I mean, most stuff is clones anyway. But yeah. Oh no, you should not be getting 10 things out of a pheno. Like, if you're getting 10 distinct things, that's crazy town. Or again, you're like buying a tester or you're buying like a past thing that's like meant to be like that. But if you buy something stabilized, you should not be getting 10 different options out of a seed because that's just somebody didn't spend any time. They just like cross some shit and they don't care. But I'm definitely not a multipass member. There are 100% good indicators. Like if you grow, I mean, I have two 5,000 square foot flower rooms I can take you into and walk through and show you. Like, you know, we could literally walk down the row. And I could show you the indicas and sativas, and we could look at strains and stuff. Like it's very clear. I think there are anyway. Yes, Nefrain. If you're in HQ mode, you're in 60. And presumably that's because you have double the frame time to save the frame. And that's why you like run higher latency. So Later, compost pile. All right, we're coming up on 3 hours. I believe this is the longest stream I've done. I think my last one was a little shorter than that. So I am gonna get out of here. It's been a decently long stream, so I appreciate everybody being here. I will try to do this again tomorrow. I don't know what we'll be playing tomorrow. Maybe we'll try something totally different. We'll see what happens. So, as always, appreciate everyone hanging out. So does the H dog over here. He's sleeping. It's hard to see. But anyway, thanks a lot, guys. As always, much appreciated. Take it easy.